Hey, Shalom. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Honor you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Alright, this is going to be a quick video touching on the destruction. Alright, touching on the future of America, the future of, the so-called westernized world, the future of this earth, under which the elite banking families are going to have this World War III play out, which is going to be spoken about and illustrated within the scripture, which I'm going to get into in a second, man. All right, and that's a good scripture, by the way. This is a nice scripture, Isaiah the 13th chapter. All right, whereby the elites that are out here are going to try fulfill their heart's desire, which is to implement this so-called new world order that they got out here, that they're trying to get and push and persistently pushing, whether it be setting up different things out there, for instance, the ISIS and the ISIL and the Al Qaeda and so on and so forth. Ultimately, it goes back onto what the Most High wants to happen out here, and that's what you're seeing playing out here. Okay, now I'm gonna premise the scriptures really with what's happening out there, because you got to couple the both of them together. The scripture talks about being circumspect, all right, and not being ignorant to any factor. So we got it to where the scripture is talking about the destruction here. Well, how does that go hand in hand with how does that apply to the situation we're living in now? Well, you're seeing it here whereby which Vladimir Putin dares Turkey to test their Russian air defenses in Syria. Now, one thing to point out when we consider Turkey, all right, Slovakia, when we consider Turkey, Turkey is part of what's known as the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, in other words. All right, and one of the fundamental principles behind NATO is the fact that if one country within that order of doing things, one country within that multitude of countries is attacked, then the whole of the other countries consider that as an attack on all of them. Ergo, the retaliation process is going to come from what's known as NATO and hence America, right? Therefore, you're going to have what's known as World War III, as spoken about within the scriptures. So I'm going to premise it with these two paragraphs, what the Russian president said, and we're going to go into the scriptures. So it says, Russian President Vladimir Putin again raised the stakes. Okay, what stakes? The stake going towards a nuclear, a full-on nuclear war. All right, Russian President Vladimir Putin again raised the stakes Thursday in his country's conflict with Turkey, using a press conference to dare the Turkish Air Force to try flying into Syrian airspace now that Russia has deployed sophisticated anti-aircraft missiles in the region. So they've put their anti-aircraft I don't know if you can pick that noise up, but I don't know where that noise is coming from. It's coming from next door, and that goes to show you, man. Truly, the devil does work out here, man. All right, but nevertheless, you ain't gonna stop no video. All right, that whining noise is coming from the next door, and I never done heard it before in my life. And hey, that's Satan, though, man. But without much further ado, let me get back into this article. It says Air Force to try flying into Syrian airbase now that Russia has deployed sophisticated anti-aircraft into this region. All right, it says the relations between Russia and Turkey, and specifically between Mr. Putin and Turkish President have been hostile since the 24th incident. And with the 24th incident, that's pretty much when they had it to where you had all of those you had it to where that Russian plane was taken down, and that's what you're seeing. This is what's erupting out of that. So that could have been what you saw out there when that thing was taken down, man. Right when they had that plane taken out. Pretty much that's what pretty much that led to what the situation that you're having out here happiness. Okay, so now this is in the book of Isaiah, the 13th chapter, and I'm gonna start from the top and write all the way on down, man. All right, so it says the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. It says, lift ye up a banner upon a high mountain, and exalt the voice unto them, which is what you're seeing the men of GMS doing. All right, lift ye up a banner upon a high mountain, and exalt the voice unto them, shake the hands that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And he says, I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. It says, the noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms of nations gathered together. And that's what's happening out here within the region that is Syria, and it's the stakes are ever getting higher, as you've seen the statement being made here. The stakes are getting higher, so the stakes are getting ever higher each time somebody does something. It says, I've commanded my sanctified ones, I've called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, a great people, a tumultuous noise of kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth up the host to battle. Right? They come from a far country. Even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land of America. And they're going to be coming from this region, because once them Turkish have, decided, look, we've had enough, all right, and they test that Russian airspace, guess what? NATO's going to be involved. And Russia is going to have an onslaught of weapons, which they've deployed out in areas like Cuba, right? All across, just like how the Americans have done it. They've done it all across Europe. So the Russians have to do it all across Europe. All right. Now, some of these bases are not, they're covert bases. You got sleeper cells out here. You got to remember that. All right. Let's get back into the scriptures. It says here, they come from a far country, even the Lord and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. All right. And they shall come as a destruction from the Almighty One. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. So people are walking in a state of pride right now, all right? But that pride is going to be taken away, and all hands are going to be faint, and every man's heart, his spirit to do whatever he wants, is going to melt within him. Right? It says, and they shall be afraid, and pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one another. Their faces shall be as flames. All right? Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both in wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate. All right, it's going to lay the land desolate. The ICBM nuclear missiles coming from Russia, man. All right, and he shall destroy the sin of thereof out of it. Who perpetuates sin within this society? Esau, right, the so-called white man who's based between Rome, right, England, right, and America. America being the superpower military force, England being the financiers. Right, Rome being the ones that push out the false doctrines that you have out there. All right, the Jesus Christ Jews. All right, so it says, for the stars of heaven shall, and the constellation thereof shall not give their light rathermore. And it says, the sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine, because of the nuclear, we're going to know as a nuclear winter. All right, it says, and I will make a man more precious than fine gold. And this statement really is a deep statement, because that kind of happens prior to the destruction coming forth. Now it's manifested at that same time, but the Most High making a man more fine than fine gold, even in the golden word of we know through the book of Zechariah, the 13th chapter, on the 8th verse, and really starting at the 9th verse, where it talks about, I'll bring the third part through the fire. All right, that's talking about the hell that we're catching right now. To when this instant when the destruction takes place, we're going to be more fine than the golden words of all first. So you can understand, we're going to be the highest commodity upon earth. We're going to be the most, not highest commodity, that's wrong statement. We're going to be the most prized commodity on this earth. All right, we're going to go back to that state of being superstars, and even to the extent of superheroes. All right. Does not the scripture say the Lord's going to turn us into a new threshing instrument? All right. And in numerous scriptures talking about, the various power that the Lord's going to impart upon us, of which we ain't worthy of that, but the Lord's going to do it for his name's sake. All right, it says, and therefore will I shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place. You can read about that in the book of Isaiah, the 24th chapter, the earth reading to and fro, and so on and so forth. The earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of the Lord of hosts. All right. And in the day of his fierce anger, and shall be as the chased roe, and it shall be as no man and a sheep that no man taketh up. And they shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. And everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. So all the NATO, right, all of them that are joined with America, which all the NATO is joined with America, they're gonna fall by the sword, which is the modern day sword, the ICBM nuclear missiles. All right, talking a little bit later on in the future, but when we have power, this is the 16th verse. Their children shall also be dashed to pieces before their eyes, and their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. So we're gonna take their wives, we're gonna ravish them. So, but we ain't gonna commit no adulterous acts. So, if their wives are being ravished, what's gonna be happening to the husbands? The husband is gonna have to be put to death. So you don't commit adultery, right? And the law of spoils is written within the scriptures. When you go into a certain place, right, you take over it, you kill off all the males, and you take their wives and you ravish them. Why? So you can have your seed amount. Remember, 2/3 of our people is gonna die, so we're gonna have to bring them back some way. And it ain't no, hey, the most likely could have it happen, but ain't no way no woman's gonna have 1,000 kids and so on and so forth. That's why, and it also says a little one within the scriptures shall become a nation, man. All right, so we're gonna be popping them women, man. All right, it says, behold, I'll stir up the Medes against them, and dash they not shall regard the silver, and as for their gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows shall also dash the young man to pieces, right, and they shall not have no pity upon the fruit of the womb. It says, and Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, which is America ultimately, but don't just see, because it says Turkey, people just see, oh, it's just talking about Turkey. No, Turkey is a part of NATO, and hence being a part of NATO, all right, NATO is going to retaliate if Russia retaliates, and therefore if NATO retaliates, America retaliates. But who are the two enemies? The two main enemies is Russia and America. So you think Russia is going to be bombing all the UK and that? Oh yes, they're gonna, but their main bomb is going to go to America because it's the biggest threat. All right, and it says, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall be never inhabited, neither shall he dwell in from generation to generation. All right, and that pretty much that's it, right? But let me read this bit. It says, and neither shall the Arabian pitch his tent there, neither shall the shepherd make their fold there. And what that's that talking about? That's talking about having it to where America returns to a desert land. All right, and the Most High is going to leave it as a monument for all nations to see. Right, what happens when you rise up against the Most High? So it says, but the wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures. Owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. The wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, right? And the dragons in the pleasant palaces. And her time is to come. Her days shall not be prolonged. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say double honors to the apostles of GMS, honestly brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.